Hello, good morning. This is Father Raymond from St. John of God. I am here outside our small parish hall. This is the alley in between the parish hall, the parish center, and the school building at the back. This wall didn't used to look like this before. This was the upper part of the wall was glass similar to this. So the walls of the small hall look like this. We had glass at the upper part and bricks at the lower part. But the problem with this type of wall inside the small hall was that we could not open these glass windows. They were permanently closed. Thus, it was always hot inside the parish hall. Even if we already put electric fans last year, it was still hot. There was very little ventilation, and therefore, groups needed to turn on our AC units. And because of the high cost of electricity, we could just not keep this sustainable when we have to turn on AC units for the groups to be able to meet inside the small hall. So now that we have lesser groups using our small hall because of COVID, I felt this was the right time to be doing all the repairs and renovations that we need to do. One of which is the walls of our parish hall, the small parish hall. Let's go back to this. You can see now that the walls have been installed with sliding glass windows, and the wall is thick with insulation. Thus, it's never going to be so cold inside, never would it be so hot inside as well because of the windows and the thick wall with insulation that we have installed. Let me bring you inside our small hall. And so I'm here inside our small hall, and you can see that now we have the windows that are there. As I've said, this used to be covered, the upper part used to be covered all with glass, and we could never open them. Now we can open all these glass windows, thus bringing in air to our parish hall. Aside from that, since we have made the walls thick enough and insulated them from putting thermal insulation for heat, cold, and sound, it's not going to be so noisy inside. At the same time, should the group be noisy inside, if they close the windows, then people outside don't need to hear that loud noise that many of our groups create when they have music played or the groups are singing, etc. Of course, with that, we would have to turn on the AC, or the other side that we installed with the covers windows as well, we would have to open them. But at least the other side of the building, the school building where we have the RCIA at night on Mondays, or that we have what do you call this, classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays for CCD, then they don't need to hear all the noise that's happening here inside our small hall. These are some of the additions that we've added. Of course, all this cost a lot in terms of new windows and putting new walls in our small hall. Let me bring you to the other side of the small hall and let you see the beautiful work that we have done simply to reimagine a wasted space that we have and how we created a room, another meeting room or classroom in its place. Let me bring you there. Where I am at is the parking space at the back of the church, and this is close to the faculty room and the office of the principal. This used to be the space where we store all the sprayers and the hand sanitizers, the cleaning materials we use for our outdoor worship. Now we have created this into a room, just simply walling it in and then changing the windows as well, the glass wall right there. I'm pointing at it. Instead of just simply glass, we put instead all these windows and walled the small hall inside, like what we did at the other side. Thus, when they open all these windows, then there's going to be more ventilation inside. As I've said, there was no ventilation in this place before. The AC unit that you see here is the split type unit that we installed inside the new room that we have created. It's not a big room, but big enough for a group of 15 to 20 people. Let me bring you in there. So I'm here inside the new room that we have created. This used to be the place where people get their sprayers, their Lysomix sprayers and the rags, the clean rags, and then dump their dirty rags after our outdoor worship. See what we have created here in the space. We have created a room enough for 16 to about 20 people. And this is a big room, enough for the number of people that I have said. We've added as well a split type unit. Should it be so hot, then we can turn on the AC. It's not really ever going to be so hot. Why? Because we have two electric fans to help in the ventilation, and the windows can be opened, and thus heat can never really stay just here inside this room. There's an echo because of all the walls here in this room, but at the same time, once this place gets filled, then I'm sure the echo will be less because of the body that will be absorbing the sound. This new room we are calling St. Francis Room. Why St. Francis Room? As many of you know already, St. Francis is such a wonderful saint that changed the face of the Catholic Church by his life, by his witnessing, and he's such a great example of poverty, of care for the earth. And Pope Francis himself chose that name, the very first Francis, to be the very first Pope to ever use the name of Francis as Pope in the Catholic Church. And of course, as you know as well, that my patron saint or my favorite saint is Saint Francis. And so we're putting the image of Saint Francis here. We're putting the cross of San Damiano right there. And we're going to be putting as well the prayer of Saint Francis here, and everything that would remind people of how we can follow the gospel values following the life of Saint Francis. Thank you so much for continuing your support and your generosity to St. John of God. Thank you for all the support and help. Have a wonderful day.